This is another in our series of videos covering the new features in OutsideView 8.1. Does it ever seem like you spend a lot of time throughout your day logging in over and over to the various host systems you communicate with? In OutsideView 8.1, Crystal Point has introduced identity management to help you avoid that wasted and redundant effort. Identity management is an approach that requires you to enter your various login credentials only once and then securely retains those credentials encrypted in memory for automatic reuse so long as OutsideView remains running. Within OutsideView 8.1, there is a new field in each session file called ID type. It is used to identify a particular credential set. When you first start a session that uses a particular ID type, you are prompted to enter that username and password only one time. Those credentials that you entered are not stored on disk, but they are stored in memory, encrypted. And thereafter, throughout your day, as you open sessions which possess that same ID type, you will be logged in automatically. And whenever you exit OutsideView, those credentials are purged out of memory, and they've never been stored on disk. Let's have a look at how this all comes together. To illustrate the problem, let's open a workspace that does not use identity management. First, it is prompting me to enter my credentials for an SSH session. And then it is prompting me to enter my credentials for the next SSH session. And finally, my credentials for my SFTP session. Those sessions I've now logged into, but my Telnet session I've not logged into, so it would be and my SSL sessions are not logged into. Okay, it's just that easy. I'm now logged into all 7 sessions. What happens if I go File, Close Workspace, open the workspace again? Guess what? I'm logged out of all the sessions. I need to log in all over again. There needs to be a better way. And with OutsideView 8.1 and identity management, we've come up with that better way. What I want to show you now is how to make each of the session files take advantage of identity management. If you'll recall, out of the workspace we just looked at, there were 7 sessions, but only 4 uniquely defined sessions. We were running multiple copies of some of them. So let's start first of all in our Telnet session and go Session, Session Settings, where it shows that the ID type is undefined. Let's set that to be some label like Nonstop User. Let's just pick a subgroup and call it Development. The subgroup setting is just a way to further categorize the session ID management. For instance, I might use Nonstop User logon credentials to multiple systems, some of them development, some of them production. And so I might want to later see just my development systems. This is a mechanism to do that. Now let's go look at our SSL session. Use a different login credentials, and I think I'll log in as super on this account. So I will call this ID type as super, and these are encrypted sessions, so let's say that we will be talking to production hosts at this time. Go to SSH, and let's go back to being a nonstop user and talking to production systems. And let's go to our SFTP session, and let's say that it will also be the nonstop user credential set, and we will be talking to, just to be something different, I will say it's a host site. Now I'll save all of these sessions, And then let's see what happens when next we bring up that workspace. Here's a fresh copy of OutsideView. Let's open that same workspace again now that the sessions within it are using ID management. We bring up all 7 sessions at once, and then our ID manager says, oh, out of the 7 sessions there are 2 unique sets of logon credentials. Please give me that data. And I log in with whatever I choose for those ID types and say OK. And what happens is that the in-focus session is logged in first, and then the background sessions are automatically being logged in. If you watch on the left in the session bar, you can watch those logins take place through our live thumbnail views. Now that was a lot easier to get logged in than the first time, wasn't it? And here's another good point. Let me close this workspace and let's reopen the workspace. This time OutsideView is already running. It's already received those credentials one time, so I'm never even prompted for the logins this second time around as I reopen these sessions. Instead, using the credentials cached in RAM, I'm logged in automatically. So I guess the summary of that would be I've entered 2 sets of credentials, and I've now been logged in automatically to 14 different sessions, the first time and the second time around. Another thing to notice is over here in the session bar, these subsections over at the bottom. Right now I am looking at all sessions. What if I wanted to look at only those sessions where I'm logged in as the nonstop user? There those 5 sessions are. What if I wanted to look at the sessions where I'm logged in with the ID type super? There are those. And remember when we talked about the subgroups? This is a way to look at these session sets in different perspectives. These are my connections to the development systems, for instance. Or this might be the one where I've chosen the subgroup name of host site. Finally, here are the sessions logged into production systems. So I think you can see that identity management is an extremely powerful mechanism for reducing redundant effort on your part. One final area to cover is how is login and auto-connect behavior defined. It's defined at the application settings level, where the session bar can be told to append the ID and subgroup, how you're displaying the session names and their subgroups and their IDs. And then auto login is if you have ID managed sessions, we'll log in as soon as we have the data available, or it could be only when the session is clicked on by the user. When do we connect the session? It could be first loaded the session definitions from memory, or when login data is available. Another area to look at is Edit, Identity Management. Here you can purge your ID cache at any time. Here is where you can enter logon credentials for the various types at any time. And here is where you have access to add, change, or delete the ID types. For instance, if I wanted to add a new ID type, I would just say, here's one. We can affect the field labels and values, and now we have a new ID type. And if we were to go over to the session settings, when we hit the drop down list of ID types, we would have this selection. We have now shown you an efficient way to handle logon credentials and manage them throughout the day, so that if you open additional sessions of known session types during the day, those credentials are cached, you will be logged in automatically. If you pick a session and say, I need another copy of that session, you can just right-click on it, go Clone Session. It will start up yet another copy, and if those sessions are ID managed, they will also be automatically logged in. I hope you can see the power of this. Instead of spending your day logging in to new sessions as you open and close them at timeout, now you need to do it only once, and thereafter, OutsideView will take care of that redundant effort. Thank you.